Are you one of those impatient, shallow-minded individuals that's given up on San Francisco Giants first baseman Brandon Belt? I laughed as I watched people drop him in droves the past few weeks when he didn't get off to a hot start. Yes, I was the guy pounding the table on Belt during spring training, and when he was leading the league in just about every offensive category possible, I looked like a genius. Now I can assure you that I didn't go from a genius to a chump in the month of April. Despite his slow start, I still believe that this will be a breakout year for the 25-year-old. And now that 25% of the people who drafted him have dropped him, Belt is starting to heat up and has 2 home runs and 6 RBIs in his past 3 games. Now don't let the fact that manager Bruce Bochy dropped him in the batting order cloud your view of the once highly touted prospect. Managers do things like this with young players all the time, trying to take pressure off them and get them going. Go look at someone like Brandon Phillips, who was a top prospect and failed miserably repeatedly over a 4-year period in Cleveland before finally becoming a stud. Brandon Belt is a blue-chip talent who just turned 25 last month. Don't make the mistake of thinking that since he's been around for a while, that he has no upside or you will risk letting someone else get the benefits of his stats as he starts to perform. And as an added kicker, I think I'd be surprised by the number of steals he accumulates over the course of the season as well. If you get him cheap enough, he'll be someone you can protect. Alright, now moving on. After missing time with a shoulder injury, Troy Tulowitzki was back in the Rockies lineup last night against the Dodgers, going 2 for 4 with 2 RBI and a run scored. If you can put up with the fact that he may not be in the lineup when you turn on the TV on any given night because of nagging injuries, he's still the best shortstop in the game. Even with missing time, the slugger starts May on a pace for a .317, 37 home run, 149 RBI season. There are many things going on in our nation's capital these days, many of them on the fantasy baseball front. With Ryan Zimmerman out and Adam LaRoche doing his best Ike Davis impression, National shortstop Ian Desmond was moved to the cleanup spot last night and responded with a 2-run home run accounting for the game's only runs. He's not expected to stay there when Zimmerman comes back, but you can see how the Nationals view Desmond as someone who can drive in runs. And so should you. If Desmond continues to hit in the meat of the order, expect his stolen base numbers to suffer a bit, but his RBI total should rise more than upsetting things. And Jordan Zimmerman, not Steven Strasburg or Gio Gonzalez, continues to be the ace of the National staff. After last night's 8-inning, 2-hit, no-walk, 8-strikeout gem, he's now 5-1 on the year with a tiny 1.636 ERA and a whip of just .75. When you factor in health and consistency, you can make the argument that he's the most valuable fantasy pitcher on what's arguably the best pitching staff in all of baseball. Staying in Washington, Bryce Harper had to leave last night's game in the 6th after aggravating a ribcage bruise he sustained the night before, crashing into the outfield wall. Not to be alarmed, however, for Harper owners. He's day-to-day and plans on attempting to play tonight against the Braves. If he's out, it should only be for a game or so. And Steven Strasburg is still dealing with forearm tightness that he claims is a result of a pregame throwing motion simulation. Strasburg plans on starting Saturday and will apparently eliminate simulating throwing a ball before he starts, and he's actually going to throw it. Kind of novel, don't you think? And an X-ray done on Nationals right fielder Jason Worth's ankle came back clean, and Worth is expected to return to the lineup once his hamstring is healthy. And finally, if you're interested in someone that doesn't play for the Nationals, Carl Crawford, who was scratched from Tuesday's lineup with an injured right hamstring, didn't take part in pregame workouts with the team yesterday and didn't play. It's not known at this point if he'll be ready for Friday's series opener against the Giants. The Dodgers have an off day today. Michelle in Coral Gables, Florida asks, I need steals and Juan Pierre is a free agent in my league. Should I pick him up? Absolutely, Michelle. He's on the Marlins to steal bases, and that's why you should have him too. His .222 average will come up over time, and the fact that he's already swiped 8 bases tells you he's healthy. Are you a Clay Buchholz believer? Don't let things like facts, figures, logic, or anything else you've seen in the past color your judgment on how you perceive the 28-year-old righty. Red Sox hurler is in fact one of the best pitchers in the game. The right-hander's record is now a perfect 6-0, and his ERA improved to a minuscule 1.01 after tossing 7 shutout frames. Buchholz finished 6th in the AL Cy Young voting in 2010, but the way he's pitching now is nothing like that. Health has always been his biggest problem, and now that he's 100% healthy, we're seeing why the Red Sox have regarded him as a future ace for years. He throws 4 different pitches consistently for strikes, and in the process, he's making big league hitters look foolish. Last night he gave up just 2 hits, walked 3, and struck out 8. The 8 strikeouts mark the 4th time this season he's reached that total, and his ability to keep hitters off balance is what's making him lights out. But here's the huge difference. Even when he was at his best in the past, Buchholz was never one to strike out a ton of hitters. He often pitched to contact, and so when he did put runners on, wasn't always able to work out of jams. He's a pitcher whose strikeouts per 9 innings has historically been just over 6, who's now striking out over 9 hitters a game on average. As a result, he's now stranding more than 90% of base runners. It will be interesting to see how Buchholz reacts when he faces some adversity this season. Will he revert back to his former self or the new and improved Clay Buchholz? If he can remain healthy, my guess is that Buchholz will be among the game's elite starters for the duration of the season. For RotoExperts, I'm Mike Cardano.